great podcast session. I'm Shivani Muthyala. Nowadays, when we take a look at the market, low-code development has been gaining a lot of prominence among the IT leaders in order to scale up their capacity, in order to meet the demands of the companies. And for this very reason, many IT leaders are also planning to increase their low-code app development tools even. And another interesting thing is that low-code tools have already taken over the buy market, and most of us are already using them without even our knowledge. So to elaborate more on this front, we have Deepak Pargaonkar, who is the Vice President of Solution Engineering at Salesforce. So hi Deepak, how are you doing?
Hi Shivani, good afternoon, and I am doing good. Thank you.
So before we jump into the topic, can you brief our listeners what Salesforce is all about and what are your unique services?
Thanks Shivani for asking that question. Salesforce, if I may just use one sentence to introduce, is the number one CRM company which provides customer 360 platform to its customers. Now let me elaborate a little bit. What do we mean by customer 360? We essentially help organizations put their customers at the center of their business. Today, truly, most of the organizations are putting customers at the center of their business. And it is for the right reason. Because customers are the ones who are going to define what's going to be the fate of this organization. Now, when it comes to customer 360 that Salesforce provides, organizations do a lot of things with their customers or consumers, depending on what kind of businesses they are in, whether they are in B2B or B2C. They acquire the customers, they service their customers, they grow their customers, as well as they do a lot of data analysis to provide better experience to their customers. Now, all of these things today are happening digitally. All of us have seen pandemic actually has accelerated the pace of digital transformation. Now, so with the tools that Salesforce provides on Customer 360 platform, we provide organizations the ability to provide the best customer experience and put the customers at the center of their business. That's at a very high level. We can elaborate subsequently, but that's what Salesforce does. Now, the second part of what are some of the services that you basically spoke about. And when we say the value proposition that Salesforce brings to the table to the organizations, I started by providing the information that we help organizations provide the best customer experience. Organizations, when they acquire, they have to manage their sales function. So with the help of our sales solutions, we provide organizations the capability to acquire their customers. Today, digital marketing is absolutely one of the most important things organizations leverage to manage the consumer or customer's journey digitally. Salesforce has a very comprehensive marketing footprint that enables the organizations to manage their consumer journeys. Once you acquire your consumers, providing them the best quality service and experience is extremely essential, which has omni-channel capability as well as a lot of value-added services to provide that personalized experience to the customer. Salesforce provides the right solution through our service footprint. Now, most of the capabilities that Salesforce provides to the organizations, they are AI-enabled because it's an intelligent platform. Organizations can use the artificial intelligence capability in every business function that they do. Salesforce also provides the organizations ability to do digital commerce, which is online commerce. With the help of our integration cloud, we help organizations manage complex integrations and the business processes. And it's very important for the organizations to leverage huge amount of data that they have. With our solutions like Tableau as well as the artificial intelligence, we provide organizations the capability to manage their data intelligently. So that, in summary, is what Salesforce provides to the organizations.
Happy to know about Salesforce. And since Salesforce is a huge company, as a Vice President of Solution Engineering, what are your roles and responsibilities?
Individually, I think I have one of the best jobs. When I say that, my responsibility is to work with the customers, that is the organizations, and work with them to provide them the best Salesforce solution so that they can provide best experience to their customers and they can transform their business digitally. So that at a high level is the responsibility that I as an individual have and we at Salesforce have for our customers.
Amazing. And as Salesforce is a technologically driven software company, how is it contributing to the growth of, new trends in the technology sector?
Time was ease of use. Fast forward it 22 years. And today, when we look at Salesforce, it continues to provide the innovation. So, born in cloud, a cloud leader, started with the innovation of enterprise cloud computing company. Subsequently, we kind of have always tried to remain at the forefront of technology innovation. Just to give you a case in point, because you asked about the artificial intelligence and what we are doing with artificial intelligence. Einstein, which is our footprint of artificial intelligence, makes it easier for the organizations to manage their data, infrastructure required for that data, as well as the necessary algorithms and intelligence to manage their artificial intelligence usage. Organizations are using Salesforce artificial intelligence capability to analyze huge amount of data as well as automate a lot of conversations which they do with their consumers with the help of AI-powered bot and many other technology components. When it comes to the analytics, let me tell you, Salesforce has one of the best possible tools in form of Tableau and Tableau CRM, which helps our customers manage huge amount of data that they have in their organization, consolidate that, slice and dice it by various dimensions, and also visualize it the way businesses would be able to want to visualize that data and make the best decisions out of that data. So that, in summary, is what Salesforce has been doing as an innovative company. We continue to be at the forefront of the innovation and to provide the value in this digital age to the organizations to use their data effectively and intelligently.
Wonderful. As you spoke about, artificial intelligence and cloud and analytics and how Salesforce is actually leveraging it. So apart from this, what are the emerging tech trends in 2021 that can be leveraged?
Brilliant. Let me take you a little bit to a couple of years of history, which is recent past. All of us know that pandemic has really brought about substantial change. And when I say substantial change, it actually accelerated the pace of digital. Why? Because overnight, as the pandemic hit, organizations had to face very different realities and a different work. And what was that work? Employees had to work from home. Consumers were doing most of the engagements digitally. Their expectations was to have most of the conversations digitally, as well as the leaders in the organization had to manage their decision-making, operations, whole of the things digitally. Also, there are some of the things which happen as part of or as an outcome of pandemic. Some of the things like various organizations, especially the financial services institutions, based on the guidelines of government, had to do a lot of quick innovation or changes in their business processes. So, on the back of a lot of these happenings around the businesses, what I could say is, first trend, the pace of digital transformation accelerated. The pace of employee engagement as well as the consumer engagement digitally completely changed. Everything was digital. Consumers buying was digital, consumers' interactions were digital. People who were supporting consumers right from selling to them, onboarding them, servicing them, they were doing everything digitally by using multiple channels. It may be phone, it may be email, it may be messenger, it may be other predominant channels that we use for communication today. Now, when all of these things started happening, organizations had to adapt to this changing environment by leveraging digital capabilities to serve their customers, certain things like online commerce, certain things around employee engagement, employee experience, decision making. At the same time, what organization had to do is be agile in developing or changing certain key capabilities. And that is where one of the trends that we are now seeing, apart from online commerce, focus on employee experience, focus on remote working, decision making, artificial intelligence, consumer experience on multiple channels, which is omnichannel experience, we are seeing the prominence and adoption of low-code development platforms also. So that's what is a little bit on what are the trends that we have seen and how organizations have been trying to adopt.
Great. And as you also spoke about the low code, so how can low code be useful in building apps in the near future?
Okay. First of all, let's talk about what do we mean by low-code platform. Low-code platform is where I will still use the term developers. Developers use blocks of pre-written code and put together either a business process, a business application, or an interface with the user. That's what at a higher level what low-code means. You can consider it like Lego block. You use the Lego blocks and construct whatever you want, but essentially you are using pre-created or predefined blocks. And that is what is low-code platform. Now, what do you mean by that? When we look at any digital capability, there are a few components to it. One is business process, which is part of that digital capability. A very simple example is like onboarding the customer. For onboarding the customer, what is required is certain business process, which goes through certain steps, engagement and interactions with the user, and then the decision making around that. Now, all of these capabilities today, with the help of low-code platform, business users or business analysts can use and build the necessary business process, business app, or digital tools instead of having huge amount of developer capabilities required, because today IT departments or the functions are already stretched. Capabilities like low-code, that Salesforce also provides low-code platform capability, allows business users to build their business applications. That should be our starting point of conversation on low-code platforms.
Thanks for explaining about the low code and along with interesting examples. And since adoption of new technology is itself a big thing, and what are the challenges that you can anticipate in terms of adopting a low code?
See, when we talk about adoption of low code, I think adoption of technology today depends a lot on learning of people who are involved in using these capabilities. Now, when we say challenges in the adoption, to be very, very honest, I don't think that there would be many challenges per se, apart from education about the low-code platforms. Because it is essentially business users who are going to leverage these capabilities. And they need to have an understanding of how to leverage and utilize this capability. To give you an example of learning, platform like Trailhead of Salesforce makes it easy for organizations to educate their employees as well as their stakeholders. And when I say stakeholders, the stakeholders may not always be employees. it might be their partner ecosystem or other stakeholders involved in the business, for them to understand what this low-code platform is, how they can leverage, how they can use for their business. So learning and educating people about this low-code platform is one of the most important things. Of course, the platforms will continue to evolve. They will make it more and more easy for the business users to adopt and also develop what we may want to call it as a citizen developers. So that is my personal view on what would be important from the adoption of low-code platforms perspective.
Wonderful. And what do you think is the significance of low code? Especially in this post-pandemic setting.
Brilliant. When we are talking about the post-pandemic setting, it is like going from the one end of the tunnel and emerging from the other end of the tunnel. And in between that, in the journey through the tunnel, there is a lot of learning. So this pandemic era has actually given a lot of learning, which earlier also I mentioned. I mentioned that we already have seen that the organization have, there is a speed up on the digital transformation. Most of the things are happening digitally. That will continue. I also spoke about the focus on employees and employee experience. More and more usage of artificial intelligence. More and more use of capabilities for online commerce. All of these things are here to stay. I don't think that there would be any change. In fact, businesses, in order to be more and more nimble, agile, will continue to invest more and more in the technology, the capability, also on the digital transformation. I think these trends are to continue. The only thing that is going to happen is acceleration of this trend of digital transformation.
Thanks for elaborating on that front. And it'll be great to hear more use cases of where customers have been benefited from the Salesforce technological innovations. Could you tell us more on that front?
Absolutely. We've been fortunate enough. Initially only I spoke about the comprehensive footprint we bring to our customers for digital transformation with the help of Customer 360 platform. And there are several customers. Now I can name a few of them. SpiceJet, Redbus, as well as BPCL are some of the customers that we pretty much have here in India. Of course, there is a long list of customers. But some of these companies, say, take an example of SpiceJet. When the pandemic hit, the airline industry or overall travel industry had to do certain changes in the way in which they will engage with the consumers by using certain capabilities from Salesforce, like solution like Service or Service Cloud that initially I spoke about. SpiceJet tried to provide a seamless and great customer experience. Companies like Redbus essentially provide the capability for the consumers to make their travel and the journey easier. Also worked on enhancing the consumer journey with the help of Salesforce technology, provide the better customer experience. There are companies in the financial services who have worked tirelessly on reducing the turnaround time that they provide to their consumers or the borrowers, as well as provide them the great consumer experience by providing Salesforce low-code platform as well as Salesforce capability of intelligence. Several examples are there where organizations have used the tools that Salesforce provides, like Sales Cloud to acquire their customers, Service Cloud to provide omni-channel intelligent, artificial intelligence-driven customer experience to the customers, a comprehensive footprint of Marketing Cloud to manage the entire digital journey of their consumers. And we really are happy that we have been able to service the needs of all the customers of different shapes and sizes, different segments and different geographies, locally as well as globally.
Happy to know how Salesforce have been helping other companies as well with its innovations. And lastly, what piece of advice would you give to the emerging and budding leaders who are actually wanting to step into this space?
Most important thing is when you talk about the emerging and budding leaders, I'm sure that they always would have pulse of what is happening around there. Clearly, what I have been speaking about is visible everywhere. The trends are entirely visible. Most of the organizations, they might be a technology company or they might not be a classically defined technology company. They all have to leverage technology, use technology, do digital transformations to enable consumer experience and also realistically put customer at the center of the business. From the experience as well as having conversed or interacted with so many customers, it's imperative now that organizations and the leaders realistically keep customers at the center of their business, define their product strategies, define their customer experience strategies, define all of their growth strategies based on what the customer wants. Companies like Salesforce are more than happy to provide all the right solutions and capabilities to help these organizations put the customer at the center of their business and transform digital.
That was really insightful, and I hope our listeners might get valuable insights from this session. And thank you so much, Deepak. It was indeed a pleasure talking to you and learning about Salesforce and its low-code innovation and many more. Waiting to see even more innovative services coming up from your end.
Thank you so much, Shivani, for your time and for the time of audience.
Great. So with this, we wind up our podcast for today. So stay tuned to Analytics Insight for more such interesting podcasts.